Hello everyone and welcome to a game called P.S. I Love You by Milk Tea Studios, currently in development. It is an otome game, means it's mainly geared towards females, but I'm not no stranger to playing in a good otome game. So let's get right into it. This is the demo, which you can play. What is your name? Well, let's see. My name is Holly, because that's my go-to female name. Nice to meet you, me. Talking to myself. Don't know how I feel about that. Hang on, that's really loud. I'll turn that down a bit. There we go. Ooh, I really like this. I never thought about falling in love. A little spacing error there, that's okay. Now, I'm not even really sure what that means. My parents divorced when I was 7. But even before then, for as long as I could remember, that their marriage was in tatters. Both of them desperately hanging on to something they secretly knew was over. I give them an A for effort, but when they divorced and I went to live with my father, it was almost relief. I didn't have to hear them screaming at each other. I didn't have to deal with them shooting guilty glances in my direction when I would accidentally wander into the room during their near constant arguments. In middle or high school, I never confessed to anyone. A few times I got love letters in my locker. The braver ones asking me to meet them on the rooftop or behind the gym. I went, but only because I felt bad for the person waiting for me, I don't want to leave them hanging. It's not who I am. I turned them down, gently, because while I didn't believe in love, I wasn't a mean person either. They'd always ask me, is there someone else? And express disbelief when I said no. Why doesn't anyone believe me when I say I have no use or need for heartache? Love is pointless, painful, a waste of time. At least that's what I thought. I didn't want love. I didn't need love. But then I met him. Don't you get it? I would do anything for you. Without you, I wander alone through the darkness. Without you, I am nothing. But without me, you are. The vaguest hint of soft, lavender-scented hair brushing my cheeks. The taste of mint upon my lips. His voice was like velvet along my frayed nerves. He sounds so familiar, though I can't seem to place where I have heard his voice. But it's fading away, as though he's leaving. Wait! I stretch a hand through the overwhelming void. Please, don't leave! What the hell was that annoying sound? Oh God, it's my stupid alarm, screaming in my face at the ungodly hour, 6 a.m. Man, what kind of crazy person gets up so early? Well, me. I fight the urge to flip the covers over my head as a pretty face rises in the murky depths of my mind. Right, that kind of crazy person. Although, admittedly, Aiko isn't exactly insane. She's a scientist. Not the mad kind, no. Just the crazy, really smart kind. I fight the instinctive urge to burrow deeper under the covers and sit up, blinking blearily at the morning sunlight filtering through the thin cotton curtains. We buy broken televisions, washing machines, appliances. The sound of a rubbish truck on the street 3 floors down filters through my room as I set my feet on the cold wooden floor. It's just another usual morning. And yet, I close my eyes, trying to remember. I was dreaming of something. No, someone. I rub my lips, still remembering the tingling feel of the mint against my mouth, and squeeze my eyes shut tighter, trying in vain to remember. You know, I read somewhere that if you want to remember your dreams when you wake up, do not open your eyes because any kind of visual stimulation, any kind of sensation will push that out. It's better if you remain with your eyes closed and try to remember as much as you can. His voice was soft, gentle even. But aside from that, what the hell? A text? Who texts? 6 in the morning. Who's texting me? Who would text me at this ungodly hour of the day? Even the telemarketers are still asleep in their beds at this hour. So whoever's texting me is worse than a telemarketer, and we all hate those. Check my phone. Oh, that makes sense. It even makes dollars. Oh, I have to make that every time. Every time. Of course, Aiko would text me just to make sure I was up. She's nice. I revel in my status as a night owl, but Aiko can fall asleep at 2 in the morning and wake up 4 hours later, happy and refreshed. Oh man, what a life that would be. If I tried that, the first person to talk to me would probably end up in the nearest trash can. Hey kiddo, don't forget about our breakfast date before classes. See you at Zoo Coffee. I smile. They have monkeys who serve the coffee. It's actually quite funny. Good old Aiko. Always looking out for me. Like she was my older sister. Which I thought she was until just right now. We're the same age, but a lot of times I always feel younger. More impetuous. That's a word I learned from her. Maybe it's because Aiko is kind of a super genius. Graduated from Waseda University at the age of 15. She's currently working as a research scientist. Trying to figure out the mysteries of the human DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid, for the loafers. One of these days, she's gonna figure out the cure to Alzheimer's or ALS, and I'll see her on TV, getting the Nobel Prize or something like that. I'm probably her only connection to the normal world. So no matter what, I try my hardest to make all of our dates, even the inconvenient ones like getting up at 6 in the damn morning. Damn it, hang on, my Discord's going off. I send her text back. Hey, what's going on? If I don't, she'll just send me horrible pictures of lab accidents. It's horrible, don't do that. I can really text her? Really? Oh, what did I do? What did I do? I got to... Did that screw up my game? That did. Hang on. See you soon. Oh, I don't get to write any... I tried to type stuff and it screwed up the game. With a yawn, I push myself out of bed, stretch until my bones and joints crack, and head to the shower. Just in the normal day, Yeah, right. Normal day. Is it ever a normal day? It's only a normal day until something abnormal happens. No matter how many times I've seen Aiko, the first glimpse of her is always a bit of a shock. She always looks so nice. Like the hair. Looks good. She's the same age as me, but is super sophisticated and glamorous. Tall, willowy. What does willowy even mean? That's a tree. With features that look like they belong on a magazine. I wonder how many people bemoan the waste of such looks hidden away in a lab. Hey, beauty and brains. That's the full package right there. Compared to her, I feel frumpy and unkempt. Made worse by the fact that I'm wearing baggy jeans, a large white t-shirt, underneath a long-sleeved green and blue flannel shirt, with my hair barely run through with my fingers. Meanwhile, Aiko is stunning in her long black-sleeved black sweater, styled long hair, sipping casually at her cappuccino. I try to hide a big yawn that threatens to split my mouth from ear to ear as I slip into the seat across from Aiko. A disposable cup filled to the brim with coffee, hot enough to melt the skin off my bones if I'm not careful. You look, well, and somewhat homeless. Have you turned to busking again? Ha ha, funny. I don't even know what busking means. She's making a joke at my expense. I know she is. I'm trying not to think about that embarrassing time 30 years ago when I tried to make allowance money by playing my guitar in front of Sakuradamon Station. Needless to say, I'm not very good at it, so I didn't make any money. Well, people pay me to stop, so that's something. It's good to see you. It's been a while, hasn't it? What, 3 weeks? 3 weeks. I'm somewhat stunned by her dazzling smile and hold my hands out in front of me in a vain attempt to ward off all that loveliness before it turns me to stone like a weird Medusa. My hair already looks bad enough to be confused as Medusa's snaky locks anyways. Stop it. There's only so much beauty I can stand in the morning. You know I got up less than an hour ago. Aiko blew on her steaming cup before taking another sip. You really ought to consider getting up every day at 6. Haha. Fat chance. I pull a face. Partly caused by the bitter coffee. Just partly. That would kill me in less than a week. Aiko rolls her eyes dramatically. Did you know that successful people are more likely to be early morning birds than night owls? Also, night owls tend to be more compulsive, bad at money management, and more likely to die sooner. I don't care what you say. I'm staying up all night. I make a flippant motion and almost upend my coffee into my lap. Psh, whatever. Besides, who wants to live until they're a wrinkly old grandmother of 90? Honestly, I could do with all that time. Time just seems to flash right before my eyes. There's so much to do, and yet, when I go to bed, I realize that I haven't done half the things I meant to do that day. So, make a shorter to-do list next time? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm talking about. Time's a wasting, and neither of us really have much to show for it right now. How old are we again? We're not that old, are we? Come on, Aiko, we're only 21. We've still got plenty of time in the world. That's what you think. You'd be surprised, trust me. I will tell you something. For all you people out there, all you young people who think you got all the time in the world, trust me. As you get older, it goes by so much faster. It'll happen to you too. You're not immune to this. It will happen, and you will be surprised. So, you know, make every minute last, make every moment count, yada yada yada, all that fun stuff. Nervously, I sip my coffee, wondering if Aiko had called me just to try to convince me to be a better human being. I'm fine the way I am, thank you very much. Aiko sets down her teacup with a slight clatter. Hey, I meant to ask you, are you busy Friday night? This Friday? Well, let me check my day planner. I think furiously. Today was Tuesday, I'm pretty sure, which meant... Shake my head. Sorry, I work then. Crap, that sucks. What's up? The sky? Duh. Well, one of my work buddies is putting together a group date on Friday. She says she knows some really hot guys. You know what? That's not fair. You know, the looks aren't everything. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sure, but it's what's inside that counts. And trust me, you'll appreciate the good personalities. Work buddies, like fellow scientist lady. Aiko tucks a lock of hair behind one ear, but it stubbornly springs back into place next to her eye. Well, more like a lab tech, but we're close enough. So what do you say? Are you sure you can't show up after work? You might be missing out on a chance of a lifetime. I lean back in my seat and give her my best stink eye. A chance of a lifetime to what? Why, meeting cute guys, falling in love. God, how can you be so cold, Holly? Her shock almost fools me. Almost. I always thought that if she hadn't decided to get into the field of medicine, she could have made a killing as a famous actress. I don't bother to hide my snort. On second thought, definitely count me out. I don't have time or patience to deal with a boyfriend. Could be a super cute boyfriend, or even a girl. Hey, you know, that's cool too. Hey, it's the 21st century. Any kind of lover. Aiko sighs and tries to tuck that stubborn lock of hair back behind her ear again. It's never going to stay. Why do you do that? Well, are you sure? Couldn't make some time? Positive. You know, like a proton or something. I try to lessen the sting of my outright rejection by asking her what I think are interesting questions to her research. But in truth, a lot of the stuff she tells me just goes right over my head and almost sends me back to La La Land again. That's okay, though. It's been a while since Aiko and I got together, and I missed our girl talk, since she's so busy with work, you know. Is that you or me? Probably you. Whoops, no. Oh, it's me. It's my alarm. I didn't want to leave, but I can't afford to miss any classes, so I hug Aiko tightly after we make plans to see each other for dinner a week later. I have to practically run to the station in order to make my class on time, and by the time I squeeze myself into the throngs of business people taking the subway to work, I'm a sweaty mess. Have you seen those videos of people in Japan, like, riding the subway? They're packed in there like sardines. They have people who sit by the trains and literally push people in because it is so jam-packed. It's almost crazy. At least during rush hour, anyway. It's nuts. Knowing the furtive glance I'm getting from a couple of people nearby who look at my appearance and think I'm an intransient who has snuck their way into the train, I stick in my earbuds and turn on the dulcet tones of my favorite singer, Gakt. I love Gakt. I don't know about you. To my love, if you ever find this letter, if there's something next to you with a worrying look on his face, will you stop reading? Well, I have to stop reading. I barely make it to class on time, and the rest of the morning passes in a blur as I record everything the professor says with my handy-dandy pocket recorder. It's not as good as my handy-dandy notebook, but most people like to take notes, either by hand or by bringing their laptops into class, but I find paper and pen and anything more complex than a tablet to be a distraction. We find paper and pen to be a distraction? Well, I guess if we're like one of those doodlers, maybe. I do have a pocket recorder. I should probably consider using it to record lessons. So pocket recorder it is. Some of my classmates thought I was a weirdo for resorting to such arcane methods of capturing lectures, but I'm the one getting the last I think an arcane method is using a pencil and paper to write down the words. I mean, if you ask me. I mean, after all, when it comes times for exams, they're always asking me for obscure quotes the professor said, and all I have to do is refer to the transcripts from those recorded lectures. By the time I trudge out my Russian literature class, I feel wrung out and frayed, like a rag that's been used one too many times and is on the point of disintegrating. Russian literature? Oh, I don't know any Russian. It must be the fact that I had to get up so early. I check my watch as I walk down to the main square in the middle of campus, an hour before I have to get to work at Cafe London. I sigh. Here's to hoping I'd make it to the end of my shift so I can stumble home and then sleep for 24 hours straight. Or attempt to, anyway. Luckily, I didn't have classes until the afternoon and no work, so I would have to catch up on my sleep then. A sudden shout catches my attention, and I glance to the right, where the basketball courts are. There's a game going on, at least I think so. There's too many people around the court for me to see, but I can hear the sound of the ball bouncing on the ground and the faint scuffling of sneakers against asphalt. Curiosity piqued, momentarily forgetting about my tiredness and the fact that I had to work, I meander towards the court and see a tall, lean figure jump in the air, an orange ball balanced on his fingertips. His dark brown hair catches the sunlight, turning the strands almost golden, and he deftly tips the ball over the rim. A cacophony of applause from the girls as well as a couple of groans from the opposite team immediately follow, and I squeeze through the crowd to watch Naoki exchange high fives with his teammates. A girl with dyed bright pink hair next to me fans herself with a notebook. God, he is so hot, she says to her friend. I know, it's like 150 degrees out. Should we say something? Yeah, let's say something. I clear my throat. He's my friend. Not really. The girl sniffs and looks at me like I'm a gum stuck to the bottom of her heels. She doesn't say anything. And I don't know what's worse, an outburst or the way she's just looking at me. Embarrassed, I turn back to the game as the opposite team takes control of the ball and starts to dribble down the court. And what the hell had I been thinking? Why did I open my mouth? Was it because I was proud to know him? Did I want to brag that I knew him or something? Like, yeah, I know that guy. He's like an actor, like a famous person. So yeah, we hang out once. The brief moment of chagrin passes. I watch Naoki dart forward, his movements light and graceful. With a quick 1-2 feint, he bats out a hand and smacks the ball right out of his opponent's grasp. The girls next to me squeal and start jumping in the air in excitement. But I'm frozen as I watch Naoki casually sidestep a defender and then tosses a one-hand layup. It goes in without even hitting the rim. Of course, Naoki had always been a talented athlete, even when we were children. Growing up, he'd play baseball and soccer, and in middle and high school, he devoted himself to baseball, taking our high school to the quarterfinals of the Nationals. He was offered a baseball scholarship, full ride, but for some reason, he chose not to accept it. I remember it caused a great scandal at our school, and the guidance counselors pulled him out of class numerous times, begging him to reconsider. He never did, and instead applied normally at the same university I did. While I was astonished that Naoki didn't take the scholarship offer and away into the major leagues, I was more than a little relieved to have someone I knew when it came to freshman orientation the next spring. We ended up in different departments, me in literature and he in architectural design. I was surprised when he told me what major he was pursuing. Architecture seemed like to come kind of straight out of left field, but he must have been serious because here we were, less than a year later away from graduation, and well, he was still here. The opposing team scores a basket, and as Naoki's team jogs down the court, our eyes lock. I raise a hand and wave tentatively, a little shy to acknowledge our relationship, especially with his fangirls right next to me. He waves back, grinning fiercely. The girls next to me go deathly silent as he claps a hand to one of his teammates' shoulders, nods in my direction, and then walks towards me with someone from the sidelines jumps in to take his place. "Hey, Holly." One of his fangirls, the one with the pink hair, tries to push herself in front of me. "Naoki, you are such a great basketball player, oh my god." The smile never wavering from his lips, he inclines his head in one side in a gracious manner. "Thanks." Then he grabs me by the arm and steers me away from the court. Both of us painfully aware of the girl was whispering behind us as we walk away. "I'm sorry to disturb you in the middle of your game. You don't have to stop playing." Naoki laughs as we find a spot under the trees nearby and take a seat on a bench. "Oh, don't worry about it. I needed a break anyway." Strangely, I feel a little bashful around him. It had been about a week since I'd seen him last, and even then, it was just in passing, really. This close to him, our thighs almost brushing together, I can see the dewy sweat on his temples, could smell the clean tang of his deodorant. Ah, X. "So what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. I was going to text you tonight, to check up." "I'm not your mother, to check in with me." "Well, I know, still, I think this feels kind of weird. We used to hang out all the time when we were kids. I think I spent more time with you than with my parents. And now we hardly see each other anymore." I mean, at the risk of sounding trite, isn't that what growing up means? You grow up, and then apart. "Sorry, you're saying you didn't miss me?" I gave him a soft jab to the shoulder. "Who'd miss a schlub like you?" It was a little surprising to feel how sturdy he was. He was a small, bony thing who constantly got picked up by the neighborhood bullies when I wasn't around to help him. I'd like to see those bullies try to push him around now. Naoki kept growing when I stopped in freshman year of high school, and by the time we graduated, his muscular torso and six-pack was a legend among the student body. The girls used to beg him to take off his shirt during baseball practice, and every once in a while, just to shut them up, he'd comply. I swear, you could hear them screaming all the way in Hawaii. "Were you watching me play?" "No, for a little bit. I was walking to work when I heard the commotion." His teeth are brilliantly white as he grins at me. "Did you see me do the dunk over Tashima's head?" I shake my head. "Oh, I missed that one. But I saw you do some layups. Looking good out there." "I looked pretty cool, didn't I?" I snorted and shook my head. "Don't be so sure of yourself." I pause and realize there's no point in hiding the truth. "Yeah, I guess you look pretty cool. Those girls seem like really big fans of yours. Do you know them?" He shrugs nonchalantly. "Oh, not really. I think I've seen the pink-haired girl in one or two of my classes. Kind of hard to forget something like that, with pink hair and these nowadays." Suddenly he stands up and holds out his hand. In a friendly manner, of course. Man, I'm starving. You want to go get something to eat? It's on the tip of my tongue to say yes. You know, I really didn't know how much I missed talking to him. No, I mean, just being around him. Until now. But I shake my head reluctantly. I wish. I'm sorry, I really have to go to work. Naoki's face seems to fall. Or maybe I was just reading too much into it. Really? Oh, that's a shame. We haven't hung out in a while. I know. Hey, I had breakfast with Aiko today. Yeah? How's that genius girl doing? Oh, you know, still smart ass. Even though I'm cutting deeply into my commute time, I find myself strangely reluctant to leave Naoki. Sorry, Naoki and I spent a few minutes summarizing my meeting with our mutual friend. I'd forgotten how comfortable I feel around Naoki. There's just something about my childhood friend that makes me feel calm and happy. Almost too relaxed to sit up straight. But work is screaming in my ear and I drag myself up. It was really nice to see you, Naoki. We definitely need to hang out more. My mom asks about you occasionally. I cocked my head to one side, oddly complimented that his mother would care to ask about the toe-headed tomboy who used to get her son in all sorts of trouble. Really? What did you tell her? Well, I mean... Suddenly a shout from the other side of the courtyard catches our attention. Hey, Naoki, hurry up and get your ass over here. We're getting slaughtered without you. Naoki waves a hand at his clearly impatient and desperate-looking friend. I guess this is my cue. I force out a laugh and punch him lightly on the shoulder like we were still kids, and I kind of sort of pushed him around a little, you know, toughen him up. Yeah. Cool. I'll see you later. Naoki runs a hand through his hair and then jogs back in the direction of the basketball court, shooting me a grin over his shoulder. For a moment, I'm transfixed. The sunlight hits his face in just the right way, turning him into some kind of a celestial being made out of sunlight. Oh boy, I should be the actress. Look how dramatic I'm getting. I shake my head and the aura dissipates, turning him back into normal Naoki again. Mortal Naoki. I lose sight of him behind the crowd gathered around the basketball court. That is not how you spell that. For some reason, my chest feels tight and heavy as he disappears from view. What the hell was wrong with me? Now get a grip on yourself, Holly. With another shake of my head, I remember that if I don't hurry, I'm going to be seriously late for work, and if there's one thing I pride myself on, it's being punctual. Securing my backpack more firmly on my shoulders so it won't bounce as much as I run, I hurry to the main gates. But just as I get past the gates and onto the street that'll lead me to the station, someone gets my attention. Hey you! Even though I'm in a rush, my curiosity gets the best of me, as it usually does, of course. I look back and find myself locking gazes with the pink-haired girl from the basketball court, the one who gushes over Naoki like he was a celebrity. My steps slow, and she catches up to me with a quick, hurried strides, her eyebrows set in a thunderous line over her eyes. Yes? What are you two, Naoki? The question startles me, and I lose precious seconds just staring at her, not fully comprehending her words. And didn't you hear me? I asked you what your relationship is with Naoki Takayama. I'm utterly tongue-tied, and the lack of sleep isn't really helping either. Are you stupid or something? Why can't you answer me? I take a step back when her hands curl into fists and it looks like she's about to throw herself at me. Whoa, wait, hang on, hold on a second. Well, what do you mean, what's my relationship with Naoki? We're just friends. I don't believe you. Are you two secretly dating? Bitch? Her question is just so ridiculous that I burst out into laughter. My sudden laughter makes her falter, and her mouth gaps open unbecomingly. The challenging light in her eyes fades slightly, and her hands start to relax. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, I swear. I'm just so surprised you would come to that kind of conclusion. Do you seriously think Naoki and I would waste his time with someone like me? No way. He's got way better taste. At least I hope so. Her mouth opens and closes silently a few times as she considers me carefully. Well, you have really weird eyes. I bet she's feeling really stupid and uncertain of herself. I can't help but feel a tiny prick of satisfaction at her clear discomfort. Really? So you're not his girlfriend? Are you kidding? No, of course not. We're just friends. We grew up together, that's all. She eyes me quietly while I shuffle from one foot to the other. I don't want to be rude to her. It would only create problems, and that was something I absolutely despised. Besides, we're a nice person most of the time. Considering the mess that was my childhood, with my parents divorcing, fighting over my custody, blah, 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 I tried my very best to live my life in the least complicated way possible. You know, we don't want to become them. You know, parents and role models are good things for not always showing what you should be, but also what you shouldn't be. So far, it was working out all right, thank God. Look, if that's all, are you sure? This time, it's my turn to blink. Was she seriously asking me if I was sure I wasn't dating Naoki? I think I would know if we were dating, which we're not. Oh. Yeah, if that's gonna be all, I have somewhere to be right now, so if you'll excuse me. My friend Arika tried to ask him out a few months ago. Erica? Is it really how people spell Erica nowadays, with an A? Am I supposed to be surprised? I mean, back in high school and even in middle school, Naoki was super popular with girls. I can even remember a day when he didn't get a love letter or two. During Valentine's Day, he would get bags full of homemade chocolates. I mean, Jesus Christ. Boy will have diabetes in one day. Of course, guess who had to help him carry all that home for, you know, half of his haul. You know, I always hated February. As it turned out to be the month I'd always end up gaining a few pounds, as well as a scattering of stubborn acne that didn't clear up until April. I thought that was a myth that chocolate causes acne. I think that's actually a myth. I mean, obviously bad diets and stuff cause acne, but I don't think chocolate itself will do it. I mean, how else was he supposed to get rid of all the chocolate? Just throw it away? There are starving people in Ethiopia. Mom didn't raise no fool. Eat the chocolate. I mean, I might not like Valentine's Day or the equally awkward White Day, which is Japanese equivalent where the men give gifts to the girls. You know, it's kind of like a reverse Valentine's Day. I don't think we have anything like that here in the States, but Japan, that's the thing. But I do think it's a crime to throw away chocolate. Okay, well, congratulations to your friend. She's doing what pretty much half the girls Naoki knew did. She flinches at my unintentionally harsh voice. Meanwhile, I'm now practically jogging in place because, Jesus, I'm going to be so gosh darn late, but I'm too damn polite to blow this girl off. God, women were dumb, feeling this emotional Vermeer guy. I mean, yeah, Naoki's hot, but was he worth all the heartache? Erica gets any and every guy she wants, but she didn't get Naoki. He told us that he was already dating someone. Oh, I'm sorry. Is he supposed to be another notch on her belt? Stop moving. Naoki was dating someone? And he never told me? Well, I mean, maybe he was just saying to blow her off, you know? Maybe he didn't like her. That's true. Maybe he lied. I chewed on the corner of my lips, strangely bothered by this omission. Good for him. So we thought it might have been you. This time my laugh sounds strangled. No, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you must have known that Naoki has better taste than to go with such a hobo like me, right? She looks me up and down, her nose held a little in the air. I guess so. I guess so? Her words and dismissive looks make me feel about as tall as an ant. Or maybe an uncle. I mean, I'm not that bad looking, am I? I mean, sure, I'm wearing clothes I picked off the floor from last night, but that's because I wasn't really thinking straight. And besides, it really shouldn't matter what a girl should or shouldn't wear. It's just... She wrings her hands. I almost feel bad for her. She's clearly in some kind of moral quandary. I make a mental note to chastise Naoki for making me deal with crap like this. Well, we've never seen him act like that around another girl before. At this point, I'm starting to feel like I'm never going to get to work, and Shinichi's going to spend the rest of the day rubbing my face in that fact. Well, we're childhood friends. We grew up together, so it's like we're siblings. It would be strange if siblings started dating, wouldn't it? It's not one of those games. I guess so. Of course it is. Okay, are we done? I hate to be rude, but I really have to get to work. She nods, an unreadable expression on her face. Sorry to have bothered you. I flash her an encouraging smile because I so don't need an enemy on campus because of Naoki. No worries, trust me. You're not the first girl to get this way over him. Inwardly, I think, and you're certainly not going to be the last. I'm not going to stop, you know. What? Stop? What do you mean? God, why am I still talking to her? Just leave. I'm really stubborn, you know. I'm not just going to stop until I make him fall for me. You know, you're crazy. An inexplicable shiver goes up my spine. I get a crazy case of goosebumps. Reader beware, you're in for a scare. That's great. Good luck, I guess. It occurred to me that I was very possibly talking to a crazy person, and if that was indeed the case, then all rules and proper etiquette pretty much went out the window. I started backing away like I was terrified she was going to attack me if I ever showed her my back. I mean, I was being an idiot, of course, but she wouldn't, hopefully. Would she? Look, okay, if you really care about Naoki that much, you really should tell him how you feel, instead of being all sly and stuff. You know, men really like when women's direct. They don't like games, you know, they don't like, you know, play hard. They don't like women to play hard to get, because people don't like games. That's just how it is. The other girls have done that to death. Try being up front with him for once. You might actually be into that. Even though I'm secretly thinking, God save Naoki if he decides to pair up with a crazy nut like you. I'll say just about anything to get away from her. She cocks her head to one side. Up front, tell him plainly. Do you really think so? At the hopeful look in her eyes, I belatedly realize my mistake. Why, oh why, did I tell some possibly creepy stalker girl to pursue my childhood best friend? Well, if Naoki ever found out what I suggested to her, I'd be lucky if our friendship survived. Well, actually, maybe that's not the best advice I could have. So he likes forwardness. I can do forwardness. Well, it depends on how forward. Don't. Like, if he wakes up and there's a horse head in his bed, that's a little too forward. Maybe back up a bit. She flicks her hand at me in what was apparently a half-assed attempt at either goodbye or thanks, and then turns back to walk through the school gates. I'm sorry. I've doomed us all. Wait. Oh my god. What the hell just happened? More importantly, what the hell did I just do? Even though I'm definitely going to be late for work, unless I somehow miraculously sprout wings and take to the sky, I find myself dawdling, wondering if I ought to go after Satoko and stop her from making the mistake. A mistake that I invariably contributed to. But if I stopped her, would I just make things worse? A small voice whispers in the back of my head, "Warn Naoki." And I comply, sending him a quick text about an encounter I had with one of his more ardent admirers. For a moment, I wonder if I should ask him if he was really dating someone, but I decide against it, even if he was. It wasn't any of my business. I didn't get a reply back immediately, but that was to be expected. He was playing basketball after all, and I glanced at the time on the top of my cell phone display and stifled a shriek that nonetheless echoed in my head like a single penny in a tin piggy bank. Shit, I muttered to myself as I spin on my heels and sprint down the street, my heavy backpack bashing into my back with every stomp I take. When I arrive at the subway platform, the subway doors are just about to close and I make a desperation-fueled drive through the diminishing gap. For a second, it looks like I'm not going to make it. I think briefly, oh my god, I'm going to get squashed between the doors and die when the train goes into a tunnel. Aloft and momentarily weightless in the air, I squeeze my eyes shut to my impending demise. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry I died in such an undignified way, sandwiched between subway doors, half of my insides smeared along the inside of a subway tunnel. This was not how I wanted to go. But the inevitable crush never comes. With a beep beep, the door slid shut mere centimeters behind me, and I hit the floor hard with my knees crumbling underneath me. I opened my eyes and found myself the object of intense attention to the other people in the subway car. There wasn't many. It was only 1 in the afternoon after all, and the horrific Tokyo subway crush was still hours away, or hours behind, depending on how you looked at it. You know, I'm a Glass half empty kind of gal. Red-faced, barely breathing like a hard bull after a matador, I picked myself up off the ground and staggered to a nearby open seat, my pulse beating madly. I checked my phone and swallowed a lump of dread. Crap. Even with this lucky break, I was still going to be at least 5 minutes late. I concentrate on getting my breath back as the subway stops once, twice, 3 times, and then my stop is called. I'm the first one out the door, almost bowling over an elderly woman whose only sin was standing just a little too close to the doorway. You know, that's all it takes. I'm so sorry, I shout over my shoulder as her husband presumably shoots me a nasty glare as he rights his wobbling wife. In any other situation, I would have stopped, you know. I'm not the kind of person who could just walk away after causing such a scene. But this was not any situation, and if I didn't get to work on time, my boss was going to have me for dinner. They never called me again. I swipe my transportation card on the electronic meter and bash my right knee on the barrier when it goes down a little too slowly for my tastes. Then I've got 4 flights of long as hell stairs to get up to the street, and it's another half a kilometer before I arrive at Cafe Shanghai. By the time I make it outside, I'm a sweating, gasping mess. Cheeks flushed, face damp, eyes bulging like I'm a pufferfish. Fugu fish. My legs feel like a rubber that's been sitting next to a hot stove for too long, and I grab onto the railing for a moment, convinced that I'm going to fall over and tumble right back down those stairs I cleared so difficultly. But I pause only for a moment. Every second that passes are by as precious as drops of gold, and with a great heaving breath, I push myself away from the railing, adjusting my bag more securely to my back, and then it's literally off to the races I go. Luckily, because it's the middle of the day, there aren't too many people walking outside, and I dash around them like they're standing still. I'm surprised I don't cause a maelstrom behind me at my frenzied pace. I turn the corner of the 7-Eleven, the one just down the street a bit from work, and a smile tweaks my lips. I'm gonna make it! Until someone steps into my path to jerk, a tall, lean figure whose eyes widen just as I launch into him with all the force and grace of a maddened water buffalo. And I don't know if you noticed, but they're not very graceful. My God, you're gorgeous. For a second time in less than half an hour, I'm weightless again as I literally fly through the air. But this time, I'm not alone. Strong, muscular arms come around me as my hands play against a hard, broad chest. The person I run into takes the brunt of the impact, and a breath of air whooshes from his mouth as his arms tighten around me. His eyes are large, ringed by countless dark lashes that cast half-moon shadows on his lean cheeks. I'm horrified and absolutely ashamed, and oddly aroused. But for some reason, I can't move. His rectangular, very elegant-looking glasses, I always wanted glasses like those, are slightly askew on his face, and before I'm aware of it, I adjust it. His eyes widen. Then the situation hits me in the face, literally, and I clamber off of him, one hand over my face to hide my now tomato-red face. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Are you alright? I didn't hurt you, did I? Did I hurt you? Gracefully, he pushes himself upright, adjusting his tie. Are you hurt? Haruhito. Oh, that's a great name. Look at his eyes. They're so green. They're like pools of emerald. An interesting question, considering the fact that I was the one who bowled right into him. What? No, I'm not. I spot a thin leather briefcase lying by his feet and dive for it, intent on returning it to him. I guess he had the same idea because he bends down at the exact same time. Crack. Our heads crash together, and a brilliant flash of pain roars through my forehead. I hear a muttered curse from him while I stagger back, my eyes watering and squeezed shut against the sudden agony. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. What the hell is wrong with you? What? I hear him snarl through a veil of tears. First you knocked me over, and now you're trying to give me a concussion? Okay, yeah, suddenly he's no longer the handsome man I thought him to be as his face contorts into an expression of rage. There's a brief red spot high on his temple near his hairline, and I instantly wanted to sink through the asphalt as bystanders stopped to stare at the spectacle playing out before them. Hair flies into my face as I bow into the waist multiple times in abject humiliation. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. He bends back down again and snatches his briefcase up, one hand covering the lump that is surely forming on his forehead. Watch where the hell you're going. If you're not careful, you're going to end up underneath a car, damn it. Without another word, he pushes past me, almost knocking me off my feet. There's a hole in the bottom of my stomach and a bitter taste in my mouth as the crowd starts to dissipate and everyone turns back to their normal everyday life. I'm surprised by the sob rising in the back of my throat. What the hell? With a sniffle, I swipe at my eyes with the back of my hand. Why did that guy affect me so much? What an asshole, I mutter as I dust myself off, even though I'm pretty sure I got the better end of the tumble. Against my better judgment, I think about the guy I ran into and realize that his back must be absolutely filthy if it had rained the night before and there were puddles of dirty water all around us. I bite my lip hard. Yes, I'd been wrong to dash haphazardly around a blind corner, but he didn't have to yell at me like that. I didn't know who I'd blame more. With another sniffle, I take a deep breath and make my way to work. Walking, of course. Oh, what a day. When I stagger through the doors of Cafe Shanghai, I'm a complete mess. Thanks to tripping over a curb I had no problems within the past 100 times I've gone over it. My knees and palms are skinned. My boss is standing behind the counter at the other end of the room making a drink for a customer at the counter. As usual, Shinichi Kougure looks amazing. He always wears those cool looking shirts. He recently dyed his blonde hair, and I can directly correlate the timing of his change in hairstyle to the increase in female foot traffic. I mean, that's not to say he doesn't look amazing to begin with. Rumors circulated amongst the part-timers that 10 years ago, our boss was once a starting member of the infamous boy band Jump. Oh, I love Jump. But he quit right before their debut due to his father's battle with cancer. Oh, man. What a swell guy. Ultimately, the band failed to gain any traction without their star, and the four-member band faded into obscurity. I've heard that the band's ex-manager blacklisted Shinichi from ever entering the entertainment world again. Boy, what a jerk. I mean, I'm not really sure how much of that is true, but he obviously is not feeling sad over not being an idol. Honestly, that's tough work. You heard the idol industry in Japan is absolutely horrible. Long hours, just for a chance to hopefully make it in the industry. Super competitive. It's horrible. Although he definitely looks like one, all the female part-timers are absolutely smitten with him. And the male part-timers, well, some of them are pretty smitten with him too, but most of them just want to be him. You know what? I think trying to be somebody else is the wrong way to go about it in life. If you want to get people's attention, be the best you that you can be. I mean, yeah, I can admit he's probably one of the most good-looking guys I've ever been around. But for some reason, his suave, smooth charms don't really work on me. I've seen him spin his web of magic on the customers, and they always fall for it hook, line, and sinker. He doesn't do it to the female employees, though. Much to some disappointment. He's oddly professional with us. Hey, no, he's professional because he has to be. It's strange watching him interact with the customers and then with us. It's like his charm can be activated just by flicking a switch. Flick the switch up, the charm is on full force. Flick it back down. Boss is back in the house and ready to take charge. He's really fascinating to watch. I close the door behind me and hobble towards the counter, wincing with every step. Luckily for me, the cafe is mostly empty, except for a couple sitting in the far corner near the restrooms, both of them swiping on their cell phones. That's such a sign of the times. Shinichi looks up, and his usual sunny smile fades away as he says goodbye to the customer and sees me. Holly, what happened to you? My clothes are damp and covered in damp gray splotches from a car that ventured a bit too near to a waterlogged gutter. Plus, I wiped my hands on my shirt after a trip, so, there were smudges of all sorts of awful stuff on me. I looked absolutely horrific, and I felt even worse. On the other hand, maybe he won't get too on my case about being late because of it. I stopped a robber, saved a puppy, or something. I had an accident. He comes around the counter, steps quick and hurried. Are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? I shake my head as my throat tightens at his show of compassion. How sweet. For the rough encounter I had with the business guy in glasses, and the way Shinichi was treating me was like balm to my shattered nerves. I'm okay, but I think I need to rest for a second. I rushed here. Luckily, he makes no mention of my tardiness as he helps me behind the counter through the storeroom that smells like coffee and sugar and lovely stuff, and into the connecting room that is used as an employee lounge slash changing room slash office slash something. I take my seat on the nearby sofa, and Shinichi leaves my side for a little bit, returning with the white box medicine chest. Oh no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I just need a second of not moving, that's all. He scoffs as he gets down on his knees before me. My God, he's going to propose. I'm not ready. I always knew this day would come. I didn't know it would be so soon. No, don't be ridiculous. Look how scratched up your knees are. You need to put alcohol and a bandage over it, otherwise it won't heal up right. A pretty girl like you shouldn't have scars. I wonder if my usually professional boss is aware that he switched over to his customers only mode. Still, it's kind of a treat to be taken care of, especially by him, so I mean, I'd let him administer to me. The first touch of alcohol pad to my skin knees bring a soft whimper to my lips. Shinichi grimaces as he continues to pat the area, removing all the detritus the sticky area has accumulated. Sorry, just bear with me. I'll have you cleaned up in no time. His eyes twinkle as he looks up at me. And behind the counter, I gape at him. Was that some kind of sexual innuendo? Coughs and looks away. Working? I mean, don't think I didn't notice you were 10 minutes late. 10 minutes? I was 8.5 minutes late. I counted. No, surely not. He wasn't. Totally wasn't hitting on me. He's my boss, for God's sake. Right. I'm sorry. Oh, it's alright. Stuff happens, you know. We're not perfect. A soft smile curves his lips, and for a minute, I can see why all the female customers are absolutely in love with him. I'm just teasing you, Ollie. He's being so kind to me. I mean, sure, he's the employer and therefore should care about his employees' well-being, but surely he should be more perfunctory with me, right? Thank you. Oh, you're quite welcome. My throat is swollen as he finishes swabbing my knees, leaving the skin pink and clean. It's already starting to scab over, but he pulls a few large square bandages and proceeds to stick them over my knees, making sure the bandage won't fold over when I straighten my legs. His touch is gentle, like butterfly kisses along my skin as he finishes applying the bandages. The breath catches in my throat. Oh God, this is no good. Nope, no good at all. No siree. I am not going to fall for my boss just because he's doing what any other kind man would do. He pats them one last time, then stands up, looming over me. The light overhead gives him a strangely aptly halo, especially with his golden hair as he holds out his hand for me to take. Was this how Adam and Eve felt when they first saw Gabriel? Probably. Of course, Gabriel then proceeded to kick them out of Eden. At least, that's how I thought things happened, didn't it? I don't know. I didn't read too much of the Bible. We have to take his hand, right? We can't deny his hand. We must take it. I hesitate for just a moment. Is this a good idea? I mean, it's no big deal, right? Nothing behind it. He's my boss, and he's just trying to be nice by helping me get up. Actually, it would be rude if I ignored him. I take his hand. The heat from his fingers seemed to sear right through me as his hand closes around mine, and he lifts me effortlessly from the sofa. A little too effortlessly. Kind of remind me of Mephistopheles. The side of my head collides with his chest, and for a moment, just one moment, I can feel his heartbeat, strong and sturdy, underneath my cheek. My boss is holding me as tenderly as a lover, as his voice rumbles from above. Be careful, okay? I can't bear the thought of you getting hurt. There's a vice around my throat, but somehow I manage to squeeze out a few words. Okay. Sorry. Then he steps away and the spell is broken. The smile he's giving me is that from a boss. After all, I can't have my best latte designer miss any work, can I? The designs you do are a big hit with the customers, you know. The balloon of hope inside my heart starts to deflate. But that's okay. No, It was necessary. I give him a quick smile and a thumbs up. Suddenly we're boss and employee again. Just the way it should be, right? Just the way it must be. You betcha, boss. He inclines his head to one side, to the lockers on our right-hand side. Get dressed, I'll see you outside. He leaves, and after taking a moment to compose myself, I change into the red uniform and hustle back to the counter where a line is starting to form. I take a deep breath and smile at my first customer of the day. I'm not reading that. What can I get you? Hello. 6 hours later, I'm drained mentally and physically. I lost count of how many lattes and cappuccinos I served. What is a cappuccino now, anyway? It all blends together. It's all coffee, right? Towards the end of my shift, we run out of our trademark green tea cheesecake, and I had to make my last-minute run to our supplier halfway across town. Sorry, our delivery guy's out sick. If you want your cheesecake, you're gonna have to get it yourself. I took an Uber, and with a flummoxed driver who didn't understand and why he had a back seat full of boxes and boutique sweets, came back just in time to meet a wave of high school girls who were just dying to have matcha cheesecake with our sugar-free lattes. Jesus. And to be honest, I didn't really see the point of ordering a sugar-free drink if you're going to eat a brick of sugar. But you know what? Who am I to judge, right? Who am I to tell people what they should or shouldn't eat? That's not on me. That's on them. Besides, it makes Shinichi happy to see so many pleased customers. And whenever the boss is happy, so is everyone else. Usually. Not that he's unhappy often, but leaving behind a chorus of goodbyes, I shuffle out of the cafe and down the street. I'm not sure if I want to take the bus, the subway, or even a taxi, but I'm just glad to be away from people for a while. My cheek muscles feel sore from smiling so much as I walk down the street. I massage my face, trying to will away some laugh lines I'm sure have come to stay. Even though I'm only 21, as my mother would say, it's never too late to worry about wrinkles. After 5 minutes of walking, I decide that I don't mind the walk because it's a surprisingly balmy night and it's kind of nice to smell air that doesn't smell like sugar or coffee. Even if the alternative is fumes and gasoline, I don't mind. I stick my earphones and connect it to my phone knowing the music will help. Some of the tiredness. The velvety smooth tones of Mila Kauto fill my ears as I shove my hands into my jacket pocket and prepare to enjoy the 45-minute walk home. God damn, 45-minute walk. Then the unthinkable happens about a block away from my studio apartment. I turn a corner into an empty alleyway and bash shoulders painfully against a large figure. An apology automatically climbing out of my mouth, I look up and find myself staring at a tall man wearing a black hoodie with a baseball cap, dark glasses, and white surgical mask. I'm gonna be killed. What a suspicious looking guy, I think, before one hand wraps around my upper arm and almost jerks me to my feet. Hey! Stunned, horror filling me to the core, I don't even know what to think or do as he reached behind me, tugs hard on my backpack, almost dislocating my shoulders. Pain flashes through my body, but it jars my mind clear, and I have enough sense to struggle and fight back. Someone help, he's trying to rob me. I scream loud enough to make my eardrums pop as I try to kick the guy in the kneecaps. Can't let him have my bag. It's got my wallet, my bank book, and my phone, not to mention my keys. Just like, go, you stupid bitch. Do you want to get hurt? Adrenaline floods through me as I reach up and try to claw the sunglasses off his face. If I ever go to the police, I want to be sure to give them a proper description of the mugger. They let go of me, but he outweighs me by at least 50 kilograms, and I feel the straps slip down my arms. No! The mugger's fist comes out of nowhere and crashes inside of my head with a punishing force. I see literal black and white stars in the corners of my vision. The blow is enough to force me onto the floor as my hands go up to make sure he hasn't knocked my head clean off my shoulders. My tongue feels too thick and big for my mouth as I can only sit there and watch the man run down the alleyway with my backpack. Stop! Just as he gets off the mouth of the alley, someone steps in front of him. The mugger comes up short, almost running into the figure. Get the fuck out of my way! I took one big chestful of air and shriek with all my remaining power. Stop him! He's stealing my bag! The mugger takes 1 second to look back at me. When he turns back around, he meets a fist in the face. With a punishing force, His head snaps back and he staggers back a few steps before falling hard on the ground. The dark glasses flying off to land near a bunch of trash bins. He doesn't move again, and I struggle up to my feet as my rescuer picks up my bag and comes towards me. The figure looks vaguely familiar, and as they pass underneath the flickering streetlight, the bottom drops out of my stomach. Oh, is it that asshole from earlier? It's that asshole from earlier. Well, oh, what? Coming soon? Oh, it's a demo. Thank you for playing the demo. P.S. I love you. We hope to see you again in the release of the full game May 30th. It's already out. Oh, man. It didn't say it was on the itch.io. Oh, maybe it actually is out. I don't know. Well, if it is, there'll be links in the description. For updates, don't forget to sign up for the Milk Tea Studios newsletter. See you soon. Well, there you go. That's P.S. I love you. I like that. That was fun. It seems like it'll be a fun little game. You know, oh man, the world needs a lot more otome games, that's for sure. So yeah, that's the demo of the game. I'll link the demo in the description. Contact information for Twitter and all that fun stuff will be in the description below. And I will see you all next time. And I hope you all have a great day.